overloading. Method overloading. Method overloading. See, what is this method overloading means? Normal overloading means giving some extra work, extra thing. You are giving something extra. For example, some A is going to do some X1 job. Now you are giving A with some X2 job also. You are overloading A. So now here also what we do is, so now method overloading, you have a method. You have a method. The method is going to do something with some set of data. Now what you do is you overload this method such that the number of data is going to change. It's going to change. You will overload the method. What is that you are going to overload is the method name you are going to overload. Method name will be overloaded. Is that right? So what is it actually is methods with same name. Name must be same. Very important. Name must be same, but vary in number of parameters, type of parameters, or sequence of parameters. What is that? Method names will be same. That is the first rule. Their names will be same. Method names will be same, but they will vary in this, any one of this or all of the three things. Either they should vary in number of parameters, that is one method should take one parameter, another method may be taking 2 or 3 parameters. So type of parameters, one method is taking integer parameter, another method is taking floating point parameter. So sequence of parameters, the sequence, first parameter is integer, second parameter is float. So second, in overloaded another method version, what is that I write float and int. The sequence also may change, and return type also may change. Return type of the method. See, only return type change, it will not accept. Only return type is changing, rest of the things are same, means it is not overloading. Overloading means any one of these things should change. Either number of parameters, type of parameters, sequence of parameters has to change. See, method name will be same, but only these things will be changing. But now you may get what is the main usage of this one. What is the main usage of this one? See, for example, I write a method authenticate. Authenticate is a method which is used to authenticate the citizens of India. Previously, what they did is they authenticated Indian citizens by using voter ID card number, voter ID number, name, something like this. So now, what they have added? Now they have added Aadhaar card to this. Yes or no? For the last 10 years, we are using Aadhaar card as a main authentication. Now I can include Aadhaar card also. So now, instead of writing a separate function, I use the same function name and I write. Why I use the same function is I should not change the design aspects of the project. So this is my project used for authenticating the citizens of India. So now I have a method authenticate which I used previously 20 years back, where I used only voter card as my authentication thing. Now I write a new version where I add Aadhaar card as one more parameter to this. Instead of defining a new function, whenever I define a new function, I need to change the design aspects of the project. So I don't want to do that. What I do is I just add one extra parameter with the same function name. I add an extra parameter. Now this one will work for me. So in sometimes, suppose if Supreme Court says Aadhaar card cannot be used as an authentication, I can go for this function. I have this function also, this method also in my program, in my project. So whenever they say that I can go for this authentication method, or whenever I want this, I can go for this authentication method. So that is what we do. That is the main usage of method overloading. I'll show you a simple example. The main aspect is you need to change the parameters, number of parameters, or sequence of parameters. For time being, I'm not taking any variables in it. I take two methods. So int, two methods are sum, So one finds the sum of integer numbers. So I'll return a plus b. So another one is public. I'm doing it for a floating point numbers. Sum of float x comma float y. Is that right? So this function will return x plus y. Okay, both the functions, the task they are doing is same. Okay, so method overload something. I am giving some name. So public static void main string args. So now what I do is I create object for the class sample s1 is equal to new sample. Is that right? So s1 dot sum of 10 comma 20. Okay, this I'll give it in system dot out dot println. Okay, otherwise I'll give it like this. System dot out dot println integer sum is equal to sum of 10 comma 20. Similarly, system dot out dot println floating point sum is equal to plus sum of 10.23. I need to suffix with the letter f and 20.61 f floating point means. So this we already discussed because by default it is double. That's why we suffix f. Okay, now so this is how the function name is same. See here, function name is same. Sum. So here the parameters are integer. Here the parameters are. So this one is going to vary. This is varying. Mainly this thing has to vary, and this is also varying. If this may be same, also no issues. But this has to vary compulsorily, either in the sequence or in the type or in the number of parameters. In these three things, these parameters has to change. So now what happens? How this linking is done? So during compilation, compiler will find out that these two numbers are integer and it will link this one to this one. These two are linked. And these are floating points, so it will link this one to this one. This linking is done. Okay, so this is done during compile time. This is done during compile time. So this is an example for this method overloading is an example for compile time polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism. Okay, so polymorphism means what? A single thing is going to be represented in different forms. So the sum is only one method. It is represented in two forms. So now these two forms, this will be linked during compile time. That's why we'll call it as compile time polymorphism. And this is also example for static binding. Static binding or compile time binding. So what is that compile time binding? The method call and method code will be linked during compile time. The method call and method code will be linked during compile time. That is called static binding or compile time binding. So this is how method overloading is going to work. The method overloading concept is methods with same name but vary in either number of parameters, type of parameters, sequence of parameters. Is that right? And return type also may vary. Is that right? Only return type variation is not accepted. So this is the example for method overloading. I hope the concept is clear.